Have you ever let a single moment of anger ruin your entire day? A cutting remark, a harsh word, and suddenly your emotions take over, pulling you off course, leading to words you later regret. Why does anger make us feel so powerless? More importantly, how do we reclaim that power? The Stoics believed your mind, not others or circumstances, is the true battlefield. They taught that real strength isn't in shouting louder, but in choosing not to react at all. It's about staying calm amidst chaos, refusing to surrender your peace to those who don't deserve it. This video will show you how to never let anger or frustration control you again, not by suppressing your emotions, but by rewiring how you respond to them. Picture yourself in a storm of disrespect, a coworker's jab, a stranger's rudeness. Instead of lashing out, you pause, breathe, and rise above. You'll learn battle-tested Stoic techniques to halt impulsive reactions, detach from what doesn't serve you, and master your emotions like a warrior of the mind. You're not weak for struggling, you're human. Every man faces the fire of anger, but few learn to conquer it. This is your moment to change. If you've ever felt drained by your own emotions, this is for you. Like this video, subscribe for more Stoic strategies, and share it with someone who needs to reclaim their peace. Because when you master Stoicism, you don't just control anger, you become unbreakable. And that changes everything. Start by seeing anger as a habit you can break. You weren't born angry. You weren't born to snap at drivers, slam doors, or replay arguments in your head for hours. Those reactions, which now feel instinctive, were learned over time, built through years of stress, pride, and a world telling men to be loud, dominant, and forceful. But the truth is, true strength doesn't need to roar. It's quiet. The most powerful man in the room doesn't flinch, doesn't argue, and doesn't let trivial things steal his peace. Anger isn't just an emotion, it's a habit. And like any habit, it can be unlearned. But first, you must see it for what it is. A chain reaction you keep fueling. Imagine this. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your boss belittles you in a meeting. Your partner snaps with a sharp word. Before your mind can process, your mouth responds. That's the cycle. Most men stay trapped in it their whole lives, thinking it's just who they are. But the Stoics saw it differently. They didn't view anger as your identity. They saw it as a weakness masquerading as strength. Epictetus said, "Anyone who can be made angry becomes a slave to that anger." Harsh words, but true. When you react blindly, you hand your power to the very thing that triggered you. You become predictable, manipulable, and emotionally exhausted. Now, picture this. You're standing in line at the DMV, waiting an hour. Someone cuts in front of you without hesitation. You feel the anger rising, chest tight, jaw clenched, the urge to confront. That moment is your battlefield. You can fight the same losing war you always have, or pause and ask one simple question. Will anger make this better? You know the answer. You've exploded before. What did it bring? More stress, regret, and distance from the man you want to be. This is where Stoicism shifts everything. You don't suppress your emotions, you step outside them. Observe them like clouds passing in the sky. Acknowledge them, but don't let them steer. Your rational mind, your inner commander, takes the wheel. That's the power the Stoics built through discipline, Most men believe their anger is justified, that staying calm is weakness or indifference. But the truth is the opposite. Anyone can explode. It's easy. What takes discipline, maturity, and true grit is holding your ground when the world shakes you, when someone disrespects you and you don't flinch. That's dominance. When life throws chaos and you stand firm, that's control. The Stoic doesn't bend to provocation, he rises above it. Not for others, but for himself. So, the next time anger surges in your chest, what do? You pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself, this anger is a habit, and I don't need to carry it anymore. Then you walk away, not out of weakness, but because you're too strong to waste energy on what doesn't matter. You're not here to be provoked. You're here to reclaim your power. It starts not by changing the world, but by changing how you respond. React like a man who commands his mind. Respond like a Stoic, with clarity and purpose, not chaos. Yelling, snapping, or storming off feels powerful in the moment. It's what most men do when disrespected, trying to claw back some sense of control. But that power is fleeting. It burns bright, then leaves you weaker. True mastery doesn't come from overpowering others. It comes from ruling yourself in the heat of the moment. Anger tricks you. It whispers that silence is surrender, that if you don't push back harder, you're weak. But think back. How often has rage actually solved anything? You shout. They shout louder. You prove your point, but lose a connection. You win the argument, but lose sleep over what you said. In a boardroom, your manager trashes your idea in front of the team, dripping with arrogance. The fire in you wants to strike back, to defend your honor. But a quiet voice inside says, if I react now, it'll only get worse. So, you pause, breathe, say, thanks for the feedback. I'll revisit it. Then you move on. Later, in private, you address it with clarity, not heat. That's mastery. That's Stoic strength. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoics didn't let ego drive them. They chose thoughtful responses over knee-jerk reactions, clarity over chaos. They knew trying to control others is a losing game. What you can control always is how you choose to show up. Many men think silence diminishes their manhood, that walking away makes them less. But recall the last time someone lost control in front of you. Did you respect them more, or did they shrink in your eyes? Anger is loud, but respect is quiet. When you stay calm under pressure, you become untouchable. That composure unnerves others more than any shout. The Stoic path doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you choose when and how, on your terms, not anger's. By delaying your reaction until the heat fades, you create space for wisdom. You make better choices. You preserve your dignity. The next time someone provokes you, don't take the bait. Let them diminish themselves with their own chaos. You stand tall not because you fear reacting, but because you choose not to be swept into their storm. You rise above, not for them, but for the man you're becoming. That's true mastery. It's not about having the last word. It's about keeping the last piece of your peace. Start today. Don't try to control the room. Control your breath, your words, your gaze, your energy. You'll walk away from every conflict with something most men never hold: unbroken dignity. That's a victory no one can steal. 3. Build calmness like a muscle through daily practice. You can't expect to stay composed in chaos if you've never trained in stillness. Most men wait until anger flares or disrespect stings to try controlling it. But emotional strength doesn't appear on command. It's forged in quiet moments when no one's watching. Like your body needs consistent training to grow strong, your mind needs daily work to stay calm under pressure. Self-mastery isn't a switch you flip, it's a skill you hone. Think of a man who's never lifted weights trying to bench 300 pounds. He'll collapse. Your emotions work the same way. If you haven't practiced pausing, breathing, or sitting with discomfort, the first time life hits hard, you'll crumble not from weakness, but from lack of training. Stoicism isn't for monks on mountaintops. It's for men in the trenches, fathers, leaders, workers facing pressure, noise, and conflict daily. Picture this. You come home after a brutal day. Your kid spills juice on your laptop. Instinct screams to yell, but you've trained for this. You pause, breathe, say, "Let's clean it up together." That moment feels small, but it's not. It's a rep in the gym of your mind, building strength for bigger storms. Stoicism teaches that peace doesn't come from isolation, but from training your mind to stand firm in chaos. It starts small, waking early to reflect, journaling before bed, choosing silence over sarcasm when annoyed. These aren't rituals, they're workouts for your soul. Many men wait for anger to erupt before trying to tame it. That's too late. You prepare beforehand. Build habits that sharpen focus, deepen breathing, heighten awareness. When pressure hits, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on your training. Marcus Aurelius reflected daily on what could provoke him and how he could respond better tomorrow. Not because he was weak, but because he wanted to grow. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that discipline begins not with grand acts, but with mastering daily thoughts and emotions. They practiced calmness like a habit, not a fleeting choice. If you want to stop losing control when things go wrong, become the man who prepares before they do. Sit with discomfort instead of dodging it. Notice your breath when you want to snap. Reflect for 5 minutes at day's end. These aren't small, they're your training ground. No one is born a stoic, just as no one wakes up with perfect self-control. But the man who persists, who practices daily, becomes unshakable. You build calmness like any other strength through effort, repetition, and time. Don't wait for the world to test you. Challenge yourself every day, because the man who trains his mind in silence will triumph when the noise arrives. 4. Let go of what doesn't serve you. You've planned your day perfectly: early workout, tasks on track, feeling in control. Then traffic hits. A meeting gets cancelled last minute. Your boss piles on more work. Your frustration surges not because of the events, but because you resist them. You're not angry that things changed. You're angry because you expected them not to. The world doesn't care about your schedule. Life shifts without asking permission. The more you cling to how you want things to be, the more you suffer. That's not weakness, it's attachment. Holding on to what you can't control becomes a trap. A man who needs everything to go his way to stay calm will never find peace. Letting go isn't giving up. It's recognizing what's not worth holding. It's discerning what's in your grasp and what slips through your fingers. no matter how tightly you hold on. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't waste energy on traffic, rules or derailed planes. They saved their strength for what they could change: their character, their mindset, their reactions. So when something upends your day, don't rush to react. Step back. Ask, is this in my control? If not, don't fuel the fire with your attention. Let it pass like a storm cloud. Picture this: you're in a parking lot. A stranger backs into your car, leaving a dent, and shrugs it off like it's nothing. You want to explode, demand justice, but after the first wave of anger, you pause. Ask, will yelling undo the dent? Will it make him care? No. So you file the claim. Stay calm. Drive away. You leave with more than a scratched bumper. You keep your dignity. That's the Stoic way. It's not ignoring the problem. It's choosing not to be consumed by it. That's not denial. It's discipline. True control isn't forcing the world to bend to your will. It's adapting when it doesn't. Stoicism isn't passive. It's precise. You don't stop caring. You stop wasting energy on what you can't change. That shift frees your strength for what matters. The man who lets go of the uncontrollable walks lighter, thinks clearer, and lives freer. You don't just protect your peace, you reclaim it. That dent in your car, it's just metal. But your calm, your sleep, your clarity, those are yours to guard. By letting go, you don't excuse the stranger's carelessness. You refuse to let it steal more than a moment. That's your victory. The Stoic's strength isn't loud. It doesn't cling. It releases. In that release, you find true control. Start asking yourself, is this worth keeping in my mind? If not, let it go. Because the man who knows what to carry and what to drop doesn't rage at every storm. He walks through the chaos with calm, clarity, and unshakable resolve. That man, even in turmoil, holds the reins of his mind. 5. Turn conflict into a personal challenge to forge your character. You can't escape conflict. As long as you live, work, and build something real, someone will challenge, misunderstand, or push your limits. That's life. But most men treat conflict as a threat to their pride, a moment to win or prove something. They tense up, raise their voice, and try to dominate. In doing so, they miss the true nature of conflict. It's not a danger to your power, but a mirror reflecting it. Conflict reveals where you're still enslaved by your ego, where you're tethered to others' opinions. The Stoics saw every confrontation, every insult, as a training ground, not a problem, but an exercise. They believed life gives you endless chances to strengthen your mind by refusing to be dragged into the noise. Imagine you're at a hardware store, waiting patiently at the counter. Suddenly, someone behind you cuts in, waving their receipt, demanding service first. They're loud. Eyes turn. Your pulse quickens. Jaw tightens, urging you to snap. But you don't. You step back in your mind and ask, what's really at stake here? Your time, your pride, or your peace? In that moment, you choose to rise, not surrender. That's not weakness, it's controlled strength. Many men think staying calm means letting others walk over you. But letting emotions rule you, that's the real loss of power. The Stoic doesn't dodge conflict. He faces it without being consumed. He speaks when needed, but not with the fire of anger, only with the clarity of purpose. Because he knows the worst thing isn't being disrespected, it's lowering yourself to match that disrespect. The more you see each challenge as a test not of who's right, but of who can stay in control, the stronger you become. Conflict becomes your gym. You stop wasting energy on petty arguments. You don't let small people shrink your world. Instead, you use every moment to build resilience. That's how Marcus Aurelius lived, ruling an empire, facing betrayal and war. He chose stillness. He didn't chase revenge. He pursued integrity. Every interaction was a chance to refine himself, not just occasionally, but daily. Men who live this way don't just survive conflict, they transcend it. Untouched. Next time someone sparks your anger, try this. Don't react. Stay silent. Don't prove their point, protect your energy. Instead of letting their chaos become yours, become the calm they can't touch. Not to please them, but because you've trained to rise above what doesn't deserve to bring you down. You're not here to answer every insult with a fight. You're here to sharpen yourself. Each moment of conflict is a chance to forge a stronger man. Respond with control, not chaos. That's how you win, not just the moment, but the battle within. That's the victory that defines you. 6. Your imagination fuels your anger. It's not the moment itself that sets you off. It's your mind racing 10 steps ahead or lingering 10 steps behind. You're not mad at what was said, but at what it means. What might happen next, or what you should have said. That noise in your head is the real enemy. Most men don't talk about this, but it's constant. A driver cuts you off, just a fleeting inconvenience, yet your mind replays it for 30 minutes. Imagining a confrontation, shouting them down, proving who's boss. You carry that weight into your next call, your next meeting, even your family dinner. That moment is gone, but your mind chains you to it. That's how small things become heavy burdens, because you don't let them go when they happen. Stoicism cuts through that mental clutter like a blade. It reminds you that you only have the present, free of imagined insults or future fights. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to return to the now whenever his thoughts strayed. He'd say, "You could leave life this moment. Let that guide what you do. Say and think, not tomorrow, not after winning an argument now." The trap is believing your thoughts are truth. They're not. They're just noise. Picture this. You're heading into a tense conversation with someone you don't like. You're braced for conflict, expecting disrespect. That tension isn't from their words, it's from the future you've built in your head. Stop. Return to this moment. Maybe they'll be rude. Maybe not. Either way, you'll handle it better with a clear mind. The Stoics knew an untrained mind creates enemies that don't exist and battles that never happen. Mindfulness isn't some soft ritual, it's a tactical edge. It keeps your head clear when instinct wants to stir chaos. You don't need to meditate for hours. Just notice your breath, your posture, the room's sounds. When your mind starts spinning stories, pull it back. Train it like a muscle to stay present. Then you'll stop overreacting to things that haven't happened or reliving what can't be changed. You'll respond from clarity, not anxiety, a place of strength, not fear. You can't control what's already happened or what's coming, but you can master this moment. Even a few breaths of presence make you not just a stoic, but a man living free. That's power no one can take. 7. Release resentment before it ages you. It doesn't just poison your mind, it wears down your body. You've seen it, the man who looks exhausted despite rest, who carries himself heavily with no load, who flinches at kindness because he's used to betrayal. That weight isn't physical, it's emotional. Holding onto anger, blame, or bitterness drains your energy, your clarity, and your ability to feel light again. Most men don't see it happening. They think they've moved on because they stay silent. But silence isn't healing. Just because you don't speak of it doesn't mean that old grudge from years ago isn't weighing on your shoulders, shaping how you talk, trust, or live. Notice how quickly you snap when someone crosses a small line. That's the resentment you carry, leaking into every moment. The Stoics saw forgiveness not as a moral duty, but as self-preservation. Letting go isn't about excusing what happened, it's about refusing to let it rule you. Every ounce of bitterness you hold steals from your present peace. No one, not even those who wronged you, deserves that power over your life. Epictetus said, "They can chain my body, but not my will." Forgiveness is that defiance. It's refusing to be shackled by your own anger. Think of a time someone crossed you a lie, a betrayal, a public slight. You swore you'd never forget, and maybe you haven't. But each time their name crosses your mind, your stomach tightens, your energy fades, your peace slips away. That's not strength. It's a self-inflicted wound. You're reliving their wrong long after they've forgotten it. That's the trap thinking holding on protects you, when it only weakens you. The Stoic doesn't wear anger like armor. He drops it like a burning coal, knowing it harms the one carrying it most. Forgiveness doesn't mean trusting them again or pretending it didn't happen. It means reclaiming the space in your heart for something better, something lighter. It starts with a choice. Stop replaying their wrongs. Each time you dwell, you deepen the scar. So protect your energy instead. Imagine you're in the break room. Someone tosses a sharp comment your way, a jab meant to sting. You could fire back, carry it home, rant to friends, let it spin in your head until midnight. Or you could smile not from weakness, but because you refuse to hold their trash. You breathe deep, step away, and leave their burden behind. That's not passivity, it's controlled strength. It's knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. When you let go of resentment, you'll feel it in your posture, your sleep, your clarity of thought. Forgiveness isn't a gift to them, it's freedom for you. Release the weight, not for their sake, but so you don't drag the past into your present. You have more life ahead than behind. Make room for it. The man who travels light moves faster, breathes deeper, lives freer. 8. Pause before you react. It changes everything. It happens faster than you think. A sharp word, a slight tone, a careless remark, and you're ready to snap or slam the door. By the time you feel the anger, it's already taken the wheel. Most men live like this, on autopilot, pulled by the world's triggers. But what if that split second between the spark and the flame was where you reclaimed your power? Stoicism begins. In that pause, the gap between what happens and what you do next. That's the real battlefield. Not the argument or the insult. It's in that breath where you choose, react like always, or respond as the man you want to be. Most men miss this gap. Their emotions outrun their reason. But once you see it, you realize how much control you've been giving away. Imagine you're at home. Your teenage son talks back, his tone sharp, his eyes defiant. You're about to snap, but something stops you. You breathe and say, "I'll respond in a moment." That pause is power. It's not silence from fear, it's deliberate restraint. You've broken a cycle that's plagued families for generations, and now you're forging a new one. The mistake is thinking a quick reaction proves your strength, but that brief hesitation, it's where clarity is born. It gives your mind time to align with your purpose. The Stoics practice this not to feel nothing, but to master the moment. Marcus Aurelius didn't say, "Don't feel." He said, "Don't act unless it serves a greater good." That good often starts with silence, with choosing when to speak. We live in a world that demands instant replies. Text back. Defend yourself. Strike now. But emotional discipline isn't about speed. It's about precision, saying the right thing, at the right time, with the right tone. You can't do that if adrenaline drives your words. You need that pause. Picture this. A colleague's remark stings in a meeting. Your instinct is to fire back, to protect your pride. But you stop. Take 10 deep breaths. Ask, what outcome do I want? Only then do you speak. Not from ego, but from intent. That's not weakness. It's wisdom. The Stoic isn't cold, he's clear. Not slow, but steady. He doesn't suppress emotions, he directs them. In that pause, he sees the consequences, the opportunities, and steps into both with a steady hand. From now on, see every tense moment as a chance to practice this discipline. When your heart races, your face burns, and your fists clench. Don't act yet. Let the moment settle, then decide how to master it. The man who controls that pause doesn't just win arguments, he conquers himself. That's the victory worth choosing. Again and again. You're not a prisoner of your emotions. You're not bound by anger, resentment, or the urge to react. What Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus lived, what the Stoics taught, is that calm isn't given, it's earned. Restraint isn't denial, it's discipline. And peace isn't weakness, it's strength honed in silence. We've explored how anger is a habit you can unlearn, how true power comes from mastering yourself. Letting go isn't surrender, it's wisdom. Staying present is your shield against stress. And in every tense moment, there's a pause where your character is forged. This isn't theory, it's your life. It's in how you treat your partner, hold your ground in meetings, and know when to walk away to preserve your values. Every moment is a chance to practice. The more you train, the more natural it becomes. That's how you stop being rattled by every slight and become unshakably steady. I invite you to start today. Master your breath. Guard your words. Own the pause. And build a mind unmoved by what you can't control. If this resonates, share your story in the comments. What moment recently tested you? What did you learn from holding back? We grow by reflecting and lift others by sharing, because, in the end, the man who masters his thoughts, reactions, and energy doesn't just control himself, he commands his life. That's the enduring strength of Stoicism. Picture this. You're faced with a challenge that sparks anger, a co-worker's jab, a family member's disrespect. Instead of reacting, you pause, breathe, and choose clarity over chaos. That choice, practiced daily, transforms you into a man who doesn't just survive life's storms, but walks through them unbroken, with dignity intact.